Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuffs and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And I just got finished recording a video, and I still don't know how I feel about it. I'm kind of flabbergasted. I'm dumbstruck. I'm very confused about what happened. We're going to be talking about that soon. We're going to be getting to a reading of Peter Straub's The Throat. We're going to be checking in again in this crazy time, seeing how all you are doing, and how my, I guess, attitude towards the whole thing has been evolving and or staying almost exactly the same, actually, now that I think about it. I'm going to let you pick my next video, not the video that'll be posting this Wednesday, but the next week's video. So I'd like your feedback on that. We are going to talk about, I guess I'm going to give this away now. I was just talking about the video I just recorded. We'll talk about the fact that I just recorded a revisited episode for Peterson or Dunhill, Early Morning Pipe. And then we will get to your questions on hashtag askstuffandthings. We have a lot of good ones this week. Or actually we have we have 4 good ones. Well, they're all good. We have 4 questions, but there are particularly meaty subjects that we can get into here. But first, as I mentioned, a reading from Peter Straub's The Throat. Peter Straub is a wonderful guy, an award-winning author, a Patreon supporter, and a viewer of this channel, and he has given us permission to read from his book, The Throat, every week. Let's continue. I picked myself up. A fragment of that piece that had altered my life had returned. Did you check the tags on Captain Haven's? It was a long time ago, but I could dimly remember checking a captain's tags. Attica's rich, dark laugh sounded like music, like Glenroy Breakstone, in fact. The professor didn't know S about Haven's. Scoot was gloating down into the bag in a way that made me uneasy. I asked who Haven's was. Scoot tugged his ponytail again. Why do you think I wear this effing thing? Haven's. This is my protest. The words struck him. I'm a professor, De Maestro. He stuck up 2 fingers in the peace symbol. Baby, De Maestro said. Bomb Hanoi. F that, bomb Saigon. He leveled an index finger at me. His eyes burned far back in his head, and his cheeks seemed sunken. Scoot was always balanced on an edge between concentration and violence, and all the drugs did was to make this more apparent. I never told you about Haven's. Didn't I give you the Haven speech? You didn't get around to it yet, De Maestro said. F the Haven speech, said Scoot. His sunken, intent look was frightening, exactly to the extent that it showed he was thinking. I like that. You know what's wrong with this S, underdog? He gave the peace symbol again and looked at his own hand as if seeing the gesture for the first time. All the wrong people do this. People who think there are rules behind the rules. That's wrong. You fight for your life till death do you part, and then you got it made. Peace is the fight, man. You don't know that. You're effed up. Peace is the fight, I said. Because there ain't no rules behind the rules. That I nearly understood what he was saying scared me. I did not want to know whatever Scoot knew. It cost too much. Excellent and intriguing reading from Peter Straub's The Throat. More from that next week. All right, gang, as we do every week, lately, as all hell has broken loose in the world, we are checking in. We are not allowed to talk about that which we are checking in on because this is YouTube. Hey! But I just want to know how everyone's doing. I had a particularly annoyed day, I guess. I had to go to the grocery store, and even though everything was fine, I went through, I got parking, got in the store, was going through the aisles. Pretty much everything was there that I needed, except for pre-moistened bathroom wipes. Those were not there, but there's plenty of toilet paper, everything else. Everything was fine, but I just found myself becoming more and more irritated with all the little things. The signs around talking about social distancing, the masks, not everyone's wearing them, some people are. Just this general mood, this feeling that everyone seems to have, everyone avoiding each other like the plague. And I understand why people are doing that, but I think it's just starting to wear on me more than it had been up till this point. The feeling of connection that you would normally have with people, or maybe occasionally have with people, it's just gone. And it's been a long time since it's been here, and I guess it's just starting to wear on me. And I'm just wondering how everyone else is doing out there. I'm tempted to start talking more about just how I feel about the whole thing, and I've been kind of avoiding that because of kind of the restrictions on YouTube and everything. And I don't want to make this a debate or anything in the comments about what we should or shouldn't be doing about all of this nonsense, but I guess I'm more interested in just hearing how all of you are holding up. Have you started to get worn down a little bit too? Because for a long time, it didn't really make that much material difference to me as far as my mental well-being or my state of happiness. I can be fairly reclusive if I have to be. It's not that big of a deal, and you know, I live with my fiance, so I have human contact, all that stuff. But I think it's more of just this like societal weight that's pushing down now, and just cumulative effect of everybody else's angst and fear and paranoia, and I don't know, it's just making me feel kind of skin crawly, and I'm not loving it. How are all you feeling out there? Chocolatey. And that brings me to the next subject of discussion. I mentioned at the top of the show that I would like your input, your feedback on what the next video should be that we do on the channel. This coming week, on Wednesday, we will be posting the revisited episode of Dunhill/Peterson Early Morning Pipe. But for the next week, I have two options. That's four. I have two options in mind. One of which is something that several of you have asked for. In fact, I think I even have a question about it. A question about it in the hashtag askstuffandthings portion of the show. A lot of you have asked, because I just offhandedly mentioned that I have a Telecaster, a Fender Telecaster electric guitar, and some of you have asked to see that guitar. So, option one is a video, I guess just about my Fender Telecaster. Telecaster? I don't know, I can't say that properly. My Fender Tele. Showing it to you, maybe showing you how it sounds, all that good stuff. I'd have to record that in my apartment, and I wouldn't be able to be very loud with the amp, so it wouldn't sound as good as it could if I were like in a practice space or something. So that's option one, the Fender Telecaster, just showing it to you, talking about it, why I like it, stuff like that. Option two would be me giving you my honest opinion on what is happening in the world lately, as relates to the certain public health crisis that's going on right now. As I said, I've kind of avoided that for various reasons, and if I were to do that, it would have to be like a non-monetized video. We'd kind of have to state that from the top, because if you start talking about these things in depth, then your video will get demonetized. So we'll just say, not even bother going to try. I'm not even going to try to monetize that video if that's the video we were to do. Choking. And I also would have to be very careful making that video so as not to inadvertently offend people on either side of the issue that we would be discussing. And I don't want this channel to be a source of contention. I want everyone to come in regardless of your beliefs. We share similar interests, and maybe we just share an interest in being interested in things. That's kind of my main personality trait, I guess, is that I'm interested in things, and that's why this channel exists. And I think you guys are interested in things too, and that's why you watch this channel. I think that's my understanding anyway. And so that's why I like to highlight things like pipe smoking and guitars and fountain pens, and we talked about knives, we've talked about firearms, we've talked about so many things in the past. There are things that interest me, and I'm interested in being interested in things. And so we don't normally talk about topical things that often, or social issues, or politics, or anything like that. And so I'm kind of curious, would you even like a video where I discuss what I think about what's been going on lately in the world, in society, Or would you rather have a video where I'm talking about not my acoustic guitar, my electric guitar, the Fender Telecaster, one of my electric guitars. So it's either a video about something I'm interested in that I'm sure would be very enthusiastic and maybe kind of nerdy, or a video that could be controversial depending on how you feel about what's been going on lately. So let me know. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll kind of get a feeling of the mood for all of you, and then I will make my decision and let you know next week. Thank you. Now, as I mentioned, I just recorded my revisited episode for Peterson Early Morning Pipe. If you've been following this channel for a long time, you will know that I reviewed this about 5 years ago. So it's been a long time, and I haven't had any since that initial review. And that initial review was pretty negative. In fact, I think it might be the most negative review I had ever had for a formerly Dunhill blend, except for maybe Royal Yacht. I did not love Royal Yacht, but pretty much every other Dunhill blend, now Peterson blend, I have liked. Even if I didn't love it, I still enjoyed it. And Early Morning Pipe, it just didn't do anything for me way back when. And that was pretty early on, one of my earlier reviews. And at the time, I was particularly into really strong English blends. And I think, at least I thought, as I was going to do this revisited, that maybe my palate has matured a bit. Maybe I'm into more subtle, nuanced blends. But you may be surprised what you discover when you watch my revisited episode of Peterson Early Morning Pipe. I definitely was. I was kind of, I don't know if flabbergasted might be too strong of a word to use, but I was expecting a much different result, and I don't want to give too much away because I think it's a fun watch. So tune in on Wednesday for my revisited episode for Peterson Early Morning Pipe. You just might learn something, or it might make you angry, or it might completely reinforce your own feelings about this blend. There's only one way to find out. And now, gang, it is time for hashtag #AskStuffandThings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at @SATBradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings, and I will do my best to answer your question on the next Sunday Stuff and Things. Also, if you are a Patreon supporter, you can write to me there. First, we have a question from Chris from the UK. Chris says, should I do a horribly stereotypical UK accent here? Here we go. Good afternoon, Bradley. I came across your reviews on YouTube and have been transfixed by them for the past 2 weeks. I noticed that you also have a Q&A session occasionally. I have been a roll-up smoker for many years, but the idea of evolving into a pipe smoker, your reviews have been incredibly inspirational. My first pipe arrived today, and my tea should arrive later this week, Elizabethan mix amongst others. Do you know of any other cigarette smokers who have transitioned, and do you have any advice in that regard? Also, I am considering filming my experiences from the very first smoke and popping it on YouTube. Any advice? Well, Chris, thanks for watching and thanks for the message. I was a former smoker, and the advice I would have for you is if you are someone who needs nicotine, then you should quit entirely. And I know this won't work for everybody, but what I did was just quit entirely, cold turkey, didn't touch anything for months. It was at least 3 months, I think. And then once I felt that I was completely over any sort of physical dependency I had, then I started enjoying a pipe every now and again. I think that was important for me because I definitely didn't want to feel as though I was using the pipe as a crutch. I wanted it to be something that I enjoyed for what it was and not for what it could give me chemically. And so I don't know whether or not that could work for you or not, but for me, whether or not, there's too many nots. For me, that worked really well, and I think it was the best method for me. Also, advice for filming some stuff and putting it on YouTube. I've kind of given advice about this before. I think, your camera doesn't matter that much. Just try to have good lighting so people can see you. try to get a microphone, even if it's a cheap microphone. It helps to have something like this little lapel mic I have, sorry I just bashed it, is the SmartLav Plus by Rode. It's relatively inexpensive, but you can plug it into your cell phone. I actually have to use an adapter to get it into my other camera that I'm using now. But it will up the quality of your audio a lot. So if people can see you and they can hear you, that's really all you need to worry about right now. And you can worry about other production things later. And then also, please, always film horizontally. Never film vertically. Please. Landscape mode, and you'll be fine. Next, we have a question from 1.21 gigawatts at Ninjatu88993807. Hey Bradley, I was wondering, being that you live in the Pacific Northwest and are in construction, do you think I would have a hard time finding work as a licensed electrical contractor? Not necessarily in Bellingham, but in that region. I'm seriously considering leaving the, quote, armpit of America, otherwise known as New Jersey. I've never been to New Jersey, so I have no comment on that. I don't know about electrical work. I know that right now construction is very, very busy in this area. We have too much work to handle right now. I would assume that that would carry over for an electrician as well. I'm a little worried that if things keep going the way they're going, you know, nationally, globally, I feel as though a huge economic downturn will probably occur. And I mean, it is occurring now. Unemployment's ridiculous. And if this kind of thing continues, then construction will necessarily start drying up. But that would probably be the same in New Jersey as it is here. Right now, there's lots of work, and I'm assuming there would be a lot of work for an electrical contractor as well. So take that for what you will. Next, the OCD Piper at the OCD Piper. They ask, I just read on a Facebook group that smoking pipes stopped shipping to Washington. Do you have a backup plan in place? I've gotten this question from quite a few people. This is a delicate matter. The short answer is no. The long answer is that if you were a nefarious individual, I'm sure that you could find ways to get things sent to you in Washington. I would never do anything like that because I always uphold and follow the law of my local jurisdiction to the letter, no matter how stupid that law may be. Next, from Robert G. Evans at Drawn Cutlass. Robert asks, okay, I guess we have already asked this question, kind of. Can we see your telecaster? And if you still have it, your bass. I guess that will depend on everyone who leaves their comments below. Would you rather see a video on the telecaster, or would you rather see a video about the big mess that's going on in the world right now? And now, last, from Tyler, our good friend at Tyler Brubaker 20. Thank you, Tyler, once again for asking a question. Hey, Bradley, my question is, do you have any interest in medieval weapons? I know that you own a few teddy bears, quote, but do you have the same love for a mace as a Glock? Hashtag askstuffandthings. As a child, especially like 10, 11, 12, I was obsessed with just the Middle Ages in general, I guess. And I would go to the library all the time as a kid, and I would get any book I could find on knights, on armor, on weapons, everything like that. And of course that extended into like feudal Japan. I was into samurai armor and weapons. I think they're cool. I don't own any. As a child, my brother and I don't know where or how we procured these, but we got like a set of cutlasses that were supposed to be wall hangers, but they were very sharp. At least the points were very sharp. And we used to sword fight with them. Like, as children, we could have killed each other so easily. In fact, I remember one point, like, parrying a strike, or I think my brother parried a strike from me, and my sword hitting into the ceiling and burying like 6 inches into the ceiling. What were we doing? not to mention the fact that we used to take pillowcases. Sorry, this is a digression. We used to take pillowcases and we would get towels and like really dense fabric, and we would shove the pillowcases as just full as we could possibly get them and compress. It was almost like a Full Metal Jacket soap in the pillowcase kind of thing, except it was laundry, but it was so compressed and so heavy and so dense, and then we would beat each other with them, and literally like a whack from that thing with the momentum behind it would smack us in the head, and we would fall to the ground with such force. Like, we used to just beat the crap out of each other all the time. But sword fighting, I like swords. I think they're cool. I don't own any. If I were fabulously wealthy and money was no object, I would definitely collect medieval weapons, Japanese weapons, maybe armor as well. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be so cool. When I was in New York, I had the opportunity to go to the museum. Was it the Met? I'm assuming it was the Met that had all the arms and armor. I'm confused. I went to so many museums, I can't keep them all straight. But they had a whole display on medieval weaponry and armor, and then also samurai weaponry and armor. And it was so cool to see that stuff in real life. It was also very striking to see how little people were way back in the day. Like, there was not a single suit of armor that I could have fit in at all. I mean, I'm 6'2", I'm not that big, but all these people were literally like 5'6", it seems like. So kind of crazy. But yeah, I think medieval weaponry is really cool, and yeah, I'd love to have some. I would try to resist the urge to like brandish them at my fiance, because I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate that very much. All right, gang, thank you. Thank you for the questions. Please keep them coming in. Tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag askstuffandthings. We really appreciate it. But now it is the best part of the show, and that is where I thank you, our Patreon supporters, for supporting the channels so generously, especially at this time. I wanted to make a brief mention. There have been some people, actually quite a few people, who have had to stop supporting the channel, and they have been super apologetic, writing me these messages saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. You don't have to be sorry. I understand what's going on right now, and the fact that you have supported the channel for as long as you have means a lot. If you have a chance to come back, that'd be great. If you don't, I totally understand, but I should be thanking you, and I am thanking you. You don't have to apologize if you can't afford to do it anymore, okay? So just thank you. But the people who do support the channel at $25 or more a month are entitled to a special shout out every single week. People like AJ Hoge, Ryan McFadin, MDoftheNorth, Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Cody Striegler, Ryan Stauffer, corbynborbyn, and Glenn. And now for the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channel at $100 a month. People like Peter Straub. Thank you so much, Peter. And Bob Magee. Thank you, Bob. And thank you all. If you would like to support the channel, only if you can, there is a link to our Patreon page in the description box below. Other than that, please stay tuned this week for the Peterson Early Morning Pipe Revisited episode. Please leave in the comment section below your preference for either the guitar video or the not really political, but sort of political kind of weird video that I could post, not this coming week, but the week after. Also, Stuff and Things Plays, still chugging along with Outer Wilds, and we are still interspersing that with some Animal Crossing New Horizons videos every week. So, until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later. I'm gonna finish my chocolate milk now.